I listened to this and I thought this was like the funniest thing in the world. Hold up. Let's just listen to this for a split second.
Oh, man. What do you want me to do?
He was talking about my boy Asmongold.
One, you guys sent me this link. And two, Asmongold is currently the biggest political content creator on this platform. Okay?
Asmon calling you out 10 minutes ago. Oh boy.
How many tweets and comments did you make celebrating the guy and memeing on the guy that got killed at the Trump rally?
True.
And so now we're supposed to look at this appeal to empathy for these clowns that have been wasting our fucking money?
Asmon is talking about USA ID because this is weirdly clipped. I could try and find the other thing, but I just want to talk about this one little moment in the video. Yeah, that's true. He's talking about the USA ID like this is such a good point. Such a good point because Destiny is talking about how like he was like, oh, like the USAID, all these people are getting fired, like that's not good, guys, like come on now, like can't you show a little bit of empathy? Like I mean, I don't think Destiny ever said specifically to show a little bit of empathy, but the way that he was talking about all the people getting fired and how he was showing Destiny was showing a lot of empathy and good faith to all the people that were getting fired from the USAID thing because of he didn't like I mean, he was only showing empathy because he thinks everything that Trump and Elon is doing is just stupid and dumb and shouldn't happen, and they're destroying the government or whatever. Like that's just Destiny's worldview and how he sees everything. So like that's probably a second order thing for why Destiny is kind of like showing empathy to the people of USAID. So I'm not sure if it's a first order thing, like he actually cares, or he's showing that he cares, but only just to prove a point. So, but that's how Destiny is. That's what he does. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. And and Asmongold is comparing it to when Destiny was talking about, oh wait, weren't you the guy that didn't show empathy to the firefighter guy? And Destiny is about to blow a fuse on this. Let's see, how does he work his way through this?
There's a difference in terms of...
Oh, there's a difference, guys. Well, actually, guys, this is funny. There's a difference here. He's going to talk about the difference, but then when anyone in his chat says like, well, actually, there's a little difference here about this other thing, he bans them because he's like, we don't do well actually things here, guys. And then Destiny wonders why his entire chat does all these well actually things. Like he's the one he's doing it right now. He's literally doing, well, actually. I
would never say that you should never feel indifferent to or say somebody's deserving of...
No one ever said never. He's just making an argument out of nothing. No one said never. All right, I'm going to let him speak now. No one said never, but good job. You're over-exaggerating his point, and now you're going to tackle a point that he never made, or an over-exaggerated point that he made that you're making for him, and now you're going to attack the point that you made for him and make yourself look better, I guess.
Of dying or whatever. I would never
Good job,
make
Destiny.
a blanket statement generally, right? If a murderer is trying to kill somebody and then gets killed by the police, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, we need to have an abundance of empathy for the murderer. My lack of care for people that are supporting Trump at Trump rallies is you have a guy who tried to coup the guy.
Now we're going to go into opinions. The reason why I don't care is because I think he did a bad thing, even though there's no there's no like conviction on doing this stuff. Like I think he did bad thing, and I made arguments in the past. So Trump did bad thing, and if people go to bad person, then they kind of deserved it, right, guys? Based on all of opinion. I think all of this is just gonna be opinion, basically.
And then gets killed by the police. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, we need to have an abundance of empathy for the murderer. My lack of care for people that are supporting Trump at Trump rallies is you have a guy who tried to coup the government explicitly. You have a guy who is engaged in all sorts of un-American, I would say, treasonous behavior from top to
I would say, yeah. I don't care about your opinion.
To bottom, and has directed other people to do the same. If you're at his rally celebrating him coming back to being the president, I just don't give a fuck. Like, you guys are begging for violence. You want the violence. You've talked about violence in multiple ways. And then if it happens, like, I'm not going to care. To say that because I have that feeling for that all of a sudden that's the same thing as celebrating, just like federal workers who are now being fired because of the same types of actions, I guess, that guy at that rally would have been celebrating, which was an illegal attempt by one man to take over the government. I mean, like, if you want to equate all of it, then I guess knock yourself out. But this is like...
Yeah, he was trying to say there's a difference here, guys. And now at the end of it, he's like, well, you know what? I guess you can knock yourself out. I guess you can equate it. Like, it is the same thing. Like, Zach is correct here. Asmongold is correct. And Dusty just did not want to say that. Let's go, base. Let's go. True. Destiny. You're actually seeing the light. Yes, we are going to equate it because it is basically the same thing. Now shut the fuck up now.
Like an intellectually bankrupt position.
Oh, it's intellectually bankrupt, guys. Let's give an ad hominem because we have no argument. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's keep going.
What is this? How are you gonna do that? It doesn't make any sense, man. Doesn't sound like he's mad at you. Sounds like he's disappointed. The thing is that Destiny and I, you guys might not believe it, but we agree on a great number of things. It's one of the reasons.
No, that is probably not true.
All right.
Well, I don't know what. I do not know what we would agree on at this point. I'm not sure. Or
wait, then how could you state in the definitive that you said no, we don't, but you don't even know what you could agree on, which means, oh wait, I was about to do a little bit of a fallacy. Just because he doesn't know what you could agree on doesn't automatically mean that the opposite is true. That he doesn't know what they don't agree on either. He probably knows a lot of things that he disagrees with the Asmongold with, but he doesn't know anything that he agrees on with Asmongold. But we're only specifically talking about that. Okay, let's just keep going.
Or rather, this goes back to that thing that I said a long time ago, where I said, I don't know how to like separate out these. I don't have like a clever, snappy name for it, but like people will agree on these amorphous kind of like moral beliefs.
Slogans. Just call it slogans. Come on now. Slogans.
But then when you actually distill them down into some solidified form, and then you ask, you find out that they're worlds apart, right? So it might be something like you get two people to agree, all life is precious, right? Yes, of course. Everybody deserves protection to the fullest extent under the law in the United States, right? Of course. And then from like these two things, then it's like, that's why women should have the right to have an abortion. Their medical decisions with their doctor is completely protected. And the other person will be like, wait, hold on, no. I was talking about a baby's right to live. They should never be aborted. That's crazy. So I don't like this agreement. This is why I've done this for probably years now, I guess. I don't know, over a year. Right?
Destiny's basically complaining about, I don't like vague statements because they're over-inclusive and I don't know what people are agreeing on, even though it seems like they're agreeing with stuff. Like when people that say they're pro-choice, they're like, oh, we're pro-choice, but that's too inclusive. Like he doesn't like that. Because like people that are anti-vaxxers, they'll say, oh, I'm pro-choice, like my body, my choice. But then when people typically say my choice, they're talking about my right to abortions. Like, oh, my body, my choice. Like, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing, same slogan. Both sides agree on it, but the outcome, the reason why they're saying it is basically different. Not completely different, because obviously both things are they're the same kind of, like they're both like my body, my choice. Depending on which example you agree with, doesn't change the fact that they're both still my body, my choice. But